This is a fourth generation construction company.
So we do stem from a long history of construction.
I don't feel like any of you are my coworkers. You are my chosen family.
Hello, and welcome to Atlas Construction's Roundtable discussion without a roundtable. Today, we're going to be discussing in a little different direction from what we normally do with our families and our clients. You know, we are a construction company, and a lot of our videos and a lot of our conversations with our families are more oriented and driven in a direction where it's educational, talking about our processes, how we build, and things of that nature. But today, we're going to be putting together a couple of videos, and it's something where I really want to peel back and have you folks really see us from a personal level, really getting an understanding of who we are, the people behind Atlas Construction. And today I'm lucky enough to have the privilege of not just sitting here with my coworkers and colleagues, but as well as my family. This is a fourth generation construction company. We do have the fifth generation jumping on board as well. But today, I'm going to talk to Bruce and pose a question to him first. And what it's going to be is, Bruce, if you could, just tell us a little bit about how Atlas Construction came about, the mindset of opening this company about 20 years ago.
We're a family-based company that stems from long generations of construction building, from our great-grandparents to our grandparents to parents, and then obviously this generation here. So we do stem from a long history of construction, and it's something that we were born and bred with. So when I was 16 years old, I jumped into the field and started doing construction, and then it kind of evolved from there to the point where, Atlas Construction was kind of born out. And so, yeah, we had some some humble beginnings at 20 years ago, where we were young, we had a lot of dreams, and so that's kind of where it bred from. Yeah.
I know for myself, the company's been actually this April 2026, we make a 20-year mark. And I've been with the company for about 19 years. And I remember, Atlas Construction from the days when our office was the size of a garage. And we would just have, one wall dividing those two. And as customers or clients would come in, we would all have to shift over to one side of the office so that we could meet the clients in privacy. And as you're doing that, you got the copy machine, and you got Reina's accounting desk, and bumping Okole's trying to get through the office and try to navigate. At that time, our very first office when we first started.
Smelling acetone on the old printers.
And one thing that for our company, we got Bruce, my cousin Reina, my cousin Saul, and Mika here. We've been with the company for a while. Mika has an unusual story. Although she wasn't part of Atlas for the full 20 years, Mika actually came on board. I'll let you discuss that. How you came about to working with Atlas.
So I kind of got hanayed into the company, I think. Prior to working for Atlas itself, I was doing their ads. So I was with them for now like 15 years total. When they brought me in, it was a complete new position that they were looking to do, and creating a whole selections department where, taking the homeowners hand in hand and showing them what we offer as standards, what we deserve to put in our homeowners' homes, what they expect, what we demand. It was really neat because Bruce just kind of threw me in there and said, sink or swim. I guess I swam because I'm still here.
And it was something where she came in when she was helping us with the marketing. And, our company really has strong family beliefs and ethics and morals. And when Mika came on board, when she was working for that marketing company, we picked up on it really quick. She had the same vision as we did, and she really understood who we were as a company. And I think that really gravitated within the office and all of us here. And that's why we were really excited when we had the opportunity to scoop her up and bring her onto the team, because I think she meshes really well with all of us. And like I said, really understands what drives us, as a family-based company.
Yeah, and then so we also producing the fifth generation, and Reina keeps on producing them for us. And so,
You're welcome.
so at the end of the day, but we're as far as the offices, all of my nephews and nieces, they were actually pretty much raised within the office, and Reina can speak to that a bit, and how you're able to bring your children, and how the homeowners seen the children coming in, and seeing that we had to, at the second office, we had to take off our shoes, and so there was an unusual environment, yeah. But I'll let Reina speak to that a bit there.
Yeah, very, very fortunate to have had multiple children in the office. I have 8 children. 2 of them are a lot older, but we had 6 of them who pretty much was raised in the office. And so it was a great blessing for me personally to be able to kind of balance between work and having, the kids be there, and not having that guilt of not being with them and not being able to tend to them. But having them in the office was great. Stressful, no doubt. Everybody in the office put up with it, and they all were a help and put a hand into, taking care of any child that maybe was crying at the moment that I'm taking a phone call, or, they see that I'm a little bit overwhelmed with, numbers, or, like my husband calls it Rain Man when I'm doing my, reconciliation. They're just calling out numbers, and, they'll come and they'll grab, whoever child at that time was. But it's a really great feeling to know that when we say family oriented, we are truly, truly family oriented, where, we have different family members that come down, and other kids in the office that are able to come down, and it's a great feeling to know that that's what we encompass, and that's what we really are. We're a great family.
If you actually come out to the office, we actually have it's like a waiting room, right? Like a resting room where we have our clients and our customers or family members come, and they wait for the meeting to begin. And over time, if the clients aren't in there and customers aren't in there, that just becomes the kids' room, and that's where they go, they play, and they watch TV. And then I know for myself, it's like part of the walking through the office, maybe I'm tired of staring at the screen for a little while, and I'm gonna go walk around, see what the family's doing, and then I already know. I'll just say, okay, go pop my head. Oh, where's the pizza? And just see where they're at, right? Or no Legos. Walking down the hallway, you got Izzy's ball, like boom, kicking the ball across. But it is, and even for myself, I come from a really big family. When we started Atlas, I had 3 children. I currently have 5 and 7 grandchildren. That was. Reina's got me on the children's side, but I think between me and Reina, we're populated half the island. But it's been an opportunity to not just to work for a company, but to actually be able to see your kids being able to be there while you're working, not have to stress in times, and then it also gives that opportunity where.
Not just her kids. I mean, even my kids, right? When they couldn't go to school, or even my daughter worked the summers. My daughter's always.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's really been so much easier to become part of this, even though we are blood family. But just the whole company as a whole, even from the outside, me being the project manager, even our guys on the field really feel the camaraderie, the family feeling that we have.
Well, it's a different sense, Jerry, when you have your family at home and then you're working and then you're in work mode, but then your kids are part of that and they can understand really what we do and what we're.
How do you guys think the homeowners seen that as far as when they came in and they seen the kids? Because sometimes I was worried for Reina, right? At the end of the day,
some family members came in and then we're working with them from drafting all the way to like the final construction, and then they think that that's the same kid, and then they're like, oh, like
whoa, they never grow. Awesome.
That's what you want.
I always get positive feedback from homeowners. They're always like, walk in, they hear the kids laughing, playing. They love it. It really cultivates that huge family dynamic, which they feel so much more comfortable when they walk into the office.
I know for some of the families I'm working with too, they have children, right? And we're trying to put together an appointment when we can meet, and we're trying to schedule it around babysitters, for them. And it's like, no, just bring them by the office. Don't worry about it. So they'll bring them in, come on in. Then you see them playing with my nieces and nephews, and it's a really great atmosphere. I think, as far as an environment where you have that family, that vibe where it's not just us, but that's one thing about us too. And I'm not sure if we had mentioned it earlier in here, but we commonly say, you know, our family, and it's not just us as a family, but it's also when someone actually trust us to hire us on as a company and bring us on board, we refer to them as our family. And true to form, and really mean that, I think, where, you know, they can bring the kids in and they can talk to us. And I mean, you know,
And then talking to our humble beginnings, right? When our first projects, when we were excited to get our first $100,000 job, right? And I can tell you that was Elizabeth Spector, who still texts us today and still texts me, Happy New Year.
I still
Merry
see her at
Christmas.
church.
Yeah, associate, yeah. So, I mean, it's, I felt that it was a good environment for when the homeowners came in and they were able to see that family environment. But I know there was some hesitation on Reina's part. They go, well, hide the kids. I said, no, well, we don't have to hide the kids. That's us, right?
There's too many to hide.
I did. I tried to put Nico
someone in the
under the seat in the car seat,
someone-
trying to rock him to like, don't. There's no kids here.
But that,
Probably in the drawer.
that dynamic goes, I mean, even spreads to our kids. I know, like for my kids, being proud of dad working for Atlas, you know, it's,
that's awesome.
It's, I mean, especially my daughter, she wears that badge every day. You know what I mean? If it hurts, she has it on her water bottle. She has a sticker on her water bottle. You know what I mean? She's proud of it. She loves the fact that she worked there. So just the family feeling of being Atlas, you know,
she did awesome too when she was.
it goes in, you know. I mean, it carries through, you know, the integrity, the love, just everything, the quality that we put into, even for your kids, for my kids to be proud of dad working for Atlas, you know, makes something that.
Especially since like they were there from such a young age and watching how we all interact and how we support each other, how we support the homeowners. I think for our kids seeing that, and like Morgan, my daughter, same like your daughter, worked in the office too, and it was the same feeling. She used to come to the open houses with us. She would study the plan. She would know, okay, how many kids are in this house? Why are there so many bedrooms? How much square footage is this? And she would be like Rain Man, and she would take all the homeowners around and show them, point out different aspects of the project. So like for our kids, I think watching that growing up in the office was important for them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, with Atlas, as we're talking about, you know, it seems like we've really hit that point where we start talking about family, and then it just gravitates. It takes itself, because you know that means so much to us. I mean, we are fourth generation contractors. We already have the fifth generation working with us. Bruce's children are still younger, growing up, but you know, Reina's got somebody working already, a child working for the company. I had my son, he was working summer jobs out there. I got my daughter working here now. You know, your guys' daughter was coming into the office. Morgan doing the tours, and I think, you know, for us, it's something that not only is it a family environment, but I think it's really. Letting them know really who we are. There is a sense of not just pride, but what you want to instill with them, you know, within our company, as far as the integrity, the quality, the trust. And we want to make sure, and I know for myself, you know, when I go home at night, I want to make sure that I can look at my children in the eye. I can say like, hey, you know, I'm respectable, you know, I'm built on integrity. And you know, I think, you know, just having us talk here today, you can just hear it that, you know, family's really a big part of us. You know.
Yeah, I drive around the truck and the badge with. I'm very proud. At the end of the day, I tell my kids, I say, well, you know, all these houses we built, this is you guys' generation next, and you guys can be proud of what we did, because there's nobody at the grocery store that's ever gonna tell us we did a bad job or we took something from them. So that's something that I try to instill in my kids, as far as honesty, integrity, and just making sure that we just do our best at the end of it, yeah. But if you guys keep on going, I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna have to grow the company a lot, really quick, because
Two offices.
I think, I mean, and I think it starts from the top, you know, when Bruce set that standard, and everybody else just has to live up to it, you know. And I appreciate the fact that I've been here going on 11 years, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I came from the mainland and just got kind of like sink or swim. Yeah. But it was easy because everybody's there, the family's there, questions, we all have each other's back, and it's all family. It just really makes it made my transition, man, so much easier to.
Don't get me wrong, there's some tough days with the family, but
I did have a homeowner pose this once. They're like, "How is it working with family?" Because like I don't know if I could work with family. I'm like, you know what? The greatest thing about family is that you can get super mad and just have it out and get it over with and then move on.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like sit on it and fester like if it was somebody you didn't really know and your coworker, right? I don't feel like any of you are my coworkers. You are my chosen family.
especially when we all know we have the best intentions, right?
Exactly.
So we understand that we have the best intentions for each other, and at the end of the day, yeah, we can butt heads, and it's rare occasion that we butt heads, but
Yeah.
we do every
Pretty
once in a
rare.
while. But yeah, like Mika said, yeah. Now every once in a while, yeah, me.
Once it's done, it's
Yeah, at the end of the day, we still all love each other and we can move
I
forward.
think every day there's a couple of lumps on the head each day I go home from banging heads. Right? Nah, but I think that's what makes us who we are. Is that
Well, I appreciate that. We all have different personalities and we all have different things to say and we all have different, ideas and thoughts about certain things. But, we laugh it out and we have fun and then, we duke it out and that's it.
Yeah,
At the end of the day.
over the 20 years, I can say that the experiences I did have coming from Atlas is this just in work environment, my coworkers, my family, as far as what I learned and what I can take and what bar they set for me as well, right? So they set a bar for me. You guys set a bar for me, just as far as integrity, as far as honesty, and so I got to meet that bar because of the fact that. If it's something that that I want from everybody else, everybody expects that from each other as well. So I mean, it made me grow as a man, and I like nothing better than to come into the office and see my family and see this coworkers. But it's a fun environment. Yeah.
And it's funny, right? We were putting together this short video today, and we're doing a couple of them, right, for you to actually understand and who we are. And it's funny. This is typical us. I asked one question, and we used the whole video time on one question. We prepared for 20, and we went through one. But that's what happens when you work with family. But with that being said, I do want to thank you folks for tuning in and watching this video. We're going to be coming out with a couple of more short videos about ourselves as a company. And then we're also going to be coming out with more educational videos as far as our processes, how we build and materials. But for now, if you guys want to get a hold of us, you can reach us. Give the office a call. You can log on to our website, atlasconstruction808.com. We have a lot of information. We do seminars twice a month where we talk about not just our company, but we talk about how to look for contractors. And then we talk about some of our processes in those seminars. And what we also do, and this is one that I'm very proud of, is we do once a month open houses where we go out, not so much go out, but a home that we finished or a project that we've done. We actually open the doors for the general public to come through, usually on a weekend, where you can really come in, see what it is that we build, applications, things that we have nothing to hide. But with that being said, though, once again, thank you for tuning in. And if you need to get a hold of us, just give us a call. With that being said, aloha.